If you like to gamble, you usually head to an Indian casino. But what if under state regulation, anybody could open a casino? What if certain parts of the state looked like a mini Las Vegas? Would that be a good idea? In Texas, they're floating the idea of legalized gambling. Texas is facing a huge deficit like California. Legalized gambling could produce billions of dollars in state revenue. Think about what kind of money that would mean for California. Do you think California should gamble on gambling, Matt?
Let's see. We have, 12% unemployment. People are leaving the state. There's fewer jobs. So let's take the people who have jobs and build more casinos so they can go to casinos and blow their money there. This is ridiculous. This state has a spending problem, not a revenue problem. We have plenty of money coming in. If the leaders of the state would focus on the real solution, which is making this a place that is friendly to do business, we wouldn't have to scramble around in desperate search for building casinos to increase the revenues to the state government. Why don't they stop spending more than they take in? Lower taxes, cut regulations. We won't be having this conversation in a few years.
Well, that would be a novel approach. Leo, what do you think?
What's wrong with a sin tax? I mean, we got alcohol, tobacco, sin tax. Casinos bring in revenue. And you know what? It's funny. People who are opposed to casinos, I find a lot of them at those casinos. They just don't want you to know about it. But I don't see anything wrong with raising revenue as to whether or not you cut something, schools or education or health benefits. That's a legislative decision. There's nothing wrong with raising more revenue. How to spend it is another story. But I have no problem with that.
Well, I'm all in favor of cutting taxes. I think, Matt, you know that. Well, you probably know that as well. And I side on the side of fiscal conservative. But I also have to tell you this. I don't see what's wrong with opening a casino. I really don't.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with it per se, but looking at having as a state policy encouraging the expansion of gambling simply to get more money into the government coffers because the government has a spending problem, that is policy making gone awry.
Leo,
we have horse racing. We have horse racing, lottery tickets. Come on. I mean, gambling is part of American fabric. So what's the big deal?
Government policy should encourage productive activities that produce real jobs and investment and entrepreneurship, not simply more places for gambling addicts to go.
Well, Matt, let me ask you a question. Should we cancel our trip to Vegas?
I don't. I leave the table.
I'm going to invite you.
Down $100.
All right, here we go. Last topic. What do you think about gay marriage? It'll be back on the ballot in 2012. You think it'll pass then? A former First Lady of the United States thinks it will. Laura Bush was speaking at the Reagan Library and signing copies of her memoir, Spoken from the Heart. Earlier this week, she told Larry King that gay marriage is coming. It's a generational thing. She also added her husband disagrees. Next time around, will California vote for gay marriage, Leo?
I applaud Laura Bush. I'm a little disappointed she didn't come out and speak about this when she was in the White House. And yes, Fred, I want to make sure this is clear. I support gay marriage. When we had gay marriage in California, my arms didn't fall off. No one broke into my house. All this doom about people falling in love, it's none of the state's business. And so, yes, it's coming. When, I don't know, but I applaud Laura Bush. I wish she would have come out earlier on this issue while she was in the White House.
All right, well, good news here, Matt. Leo's arm didn't fall out when we had gay marriage. And I know you're against government interfering in people's personal lives. What do you think about this, Matt?
I oppose it. I think gay marriage is a contradiction in terms. Marriage is by its nature between a man and a woman. When you have either by government act, that's the government redefining marriage into being something it isn't, and never has been, and never will be. And that aside, that reality aside, I understand that cultural factors in this state especially may militate in the direction that Laura Bush talked about. But I think as the debate gets engaged, I think it can go both ways. I think everybody was kind of surprised that it didn't pass, that gay marriage was banned at the polls in 2008. So I think as we get into the debate more and people think more about what marriage actually is and get beyond the kind of feel-goodism of the issue, I think they might come around to the more traditional historical point of view, that marriage is between a man and a woman. It can't be anything else.
Well, excuse me. The marriage between a man and a woman sounds like a biblical term, and that's why we have the First Amendment, separation of church and state. So from a moral standpoint, that's one thing. Civilly, I don't think the government should be involved with who should fall in love with another person. Gay marriage should be a legal right. We're not talking about a spiritual or moral right. A legal right for two people to fall in love.
Yeah, but Matt doesn't believe the government should be involved in much of anything. He believes that the individual should make those decisions.
And all of a sudden, now I didn't hear a clear, definitive answer allowing people to fall in love.
I am against government intervening and changing the definition of marriage, which is what you're advocating, Leo.
Well, that means you're in favor of gay marriage. I'm a
No,
little slow.
I'm in favor of marriage. I'm against government redefining it into something it is not. And that is what advocates of gay marriage are trying to do.
All right. That was well done, guys. That was really well done. All right. I'll talk to you next week. Thanks a lot.
All right. See you later.
Thank you.
Okay.